Welcome back, ARK players, to a brand new video. Now today we are going to be going through the brand new patch which has gone live for Steam and Epic Game clients, but I think console players are still waiting to get this update. As you would have seen with my most recent video, there has been some pretty big issues that actually came from when Wildcard did the last patch. So it's kind of, at the moment, we're in a stage where things are getting fixed, but some other things are breaking, and hopefully it will all start getting fixed. They said they're going to do one every single week, probably now until like February time. So if you do enjoy today's video, as always, drop a like and subscribe. It really supports the channel, and let's get in with the patch. So they did fix a crash, which Dolly mentions a little bit more information on that later on, but this is the patch notes. So fixed battle rig front and rear damage immunity, fixed zombies so they are affected by movement impairing mechanics, fixed the soul wind being aggressive towards non-aggressive creatures, fixed the gargoyle structure harvesting components so they can update correctly on existing map saves, fixed zombies glowing after their bodies decay, alpha hulking zombies can no longer be carried, fixed bloated zombie bodies partially remaining after explosion, fixed the Drakelin Horde loot chest floating or appearing under the mesh, potential fix for ARK inventory repeatedly refreshing in some cases, fixed an issue where players killed while in feline form could become stuck as a cat. Wisp of Industry can no longer be deployed inside the mesh. Fixed the Snow Dragon body stretching during teleportation. The Snow Dragon can no longer pick up dinos with platform saddles. Thralls can no longer become Reaper parents. Impregnation attacks can no longer target thralls, and a buff can no longer be applied. Fixed an issue preventing the Soulwind / Malwind helper from being hidden. Male and female dinos will no longer mate unless mating is enabled on both. Now, this again has apparently not been fixed with the patch. They're saying people are still reporting that this is happening. Maybe it could be an issue with the certain dino that you have. So it might mean that future dinos that you use won't have this issue, but your current dinos that are affected by that issue, they could be kind of stuck like that forever. So I'm not too sure if that's the case, but normally sometimes it is, and they fixed a crash. Now, Dolly is finally on vacation. On Discord, Dolly is on vacation. As you guys can imagine, probably working for the ARK team at Studio Wildcard is kind of like me running my cluster, in the sense of, because ARK is a live service game with lots of issues, you finally decide to take some holiday or whatever and actually have a break, and then that moment you decide to do that, the game breaks. And that is literally what happens in ARK. It's like you take a little bit of a break, and that's when ARK decides to break. But Dolly said, "Hello, I hope you guys are well. I went swimming in a storm today and ate some hot chips. Keep an eye out for the server update with the fixes. Okay, bye." And she said that the crash was unexciting but necessary. So yeah, this patch, as I said, is gone out on Steam. Console is coming later. They said they single player only until the server update went out later on, which it now has. Now, I want to take you guys over to the Unreal Engine 5.7 upgrade for the performance update. Now, of course, you know, the game, you know, it's been in ARK's DNA for the last 10 years that there is major issues with servers, rubber banding, lag, whatever. You know, that has been a genuine issue for ARK for years, like literally since the game launched. And in April, which they said it was going to be March, but now they're saying they're targeting April, we are going to be getting the ASA Unreal Engine 5.7 upgrade. I released an announcement in the LoadedCrysis cluster mentioning basically we want 2026 to be the year we really focus. Not like we haven't focused on performance before, but we really want to do our best to work on whatever we can do. Kind of, it's trial and error always with ARK. Now, Studio Wildcard go on to say, performance remains a major focus for us this year, and a key part of that work is our upcoming Unreal Engine 5.7 upgrade, which is currently targeting April. Compared to its October 2023 launch, ARK Survival Ascended currently runs roughly 40 to 50% better on the same hardware, the result of ongoing optimization, engine improvements, and the move to Unreal Engine 5.7, sorry, is expected to push that further with an additional 30 to 40% performance gain across CPU and GPU, which apparently is going to be massive for console players. Much of this comes from a deeper engine level changes Epic has made in the recent Unreal Engine versions. Unreal Engine 5.6 introduced major improvements to how work is shared across the game thread, render thread, CPU, and GPU, allowing systems to run far more efficiently in parallel. Unreal Engine 5.7 builds on that with a new nanite-based foliage rendering system that significantly improves performance in large vegetation-heavy environments, which is very, very relevant for ARK. Internally, we're seeing meaningful gains on existing maps without sacrificing visuals or memory. This is about as close to a magic bullet as performance work gets, a rare case that is an unalloyed win. There is still a lot of work to do before release, including engine prep, testing, and recooking mods to ensure everything continues to run smoothly. But this upgrade represents the most significant performance gain ASA will see this year, and something players should feel directly and dramatically once it's in their hands. It also, unlocks the potential for a certain portable console or of the cross-platform game. So I think the one thing to think about, guys, is playing ARK Survival Ascended, it's probably going to take a very, very, very long time in the future until we are playing ARK as a fully optimized game. When you're playing a game, there's always going to be an issue, you know, whether that's a disconnect, whatever. Trips happen in the system. That is a thing that won't change. That's just life. But ARK has been a game that's been ahead of its time for a long time, and it's taken, you know, generally like 10 years to 15 years for ARK to catch up, because of course there's other things that Wildcard could have done earlier on, but because the game is so massive, and you know, if you compare to Hytale, which just launched, that game was 1.5 gigabytes, and it's the same with Minecraft, because they're smaller games. ARK is huge in the whole scheme of things, you know, the grand scheme of things. It's hundreds of gigabytes. So to be able to get this game into a perfect place is these kind of improvements from Epic Games with the Unreal Engine upgrades. Now, I don't think we'll see a perfect ARK, but I do think we could get to a point where we're seeing the best ARK we would have ever have wished for, but that might not be into a very, very, very further down the line Unreal Engine upgrade. But I'm looking forward to this one. They're making some big statements here, calling it a magic bullet. So this is going to be really interesting in the future for the game. As for the future of ARK Survival Ascended, what would you say you're most looking forward to? I personally really just want to see the legacy maps, like they mentioned, like Studio Wildcard said here, you know, also in 2026 and 2027, we can expect to see the upgraded legacy maps. I would personally love just to get Fjorda out there, Lost Island, obviously the Genesis maps, which are here, and Crystal Isles, because to be honest, I feel like that needs... I know, obviously, Wildcard want to be making money, and I'm super excited for Ark Dragontopia. Like, generally, this is, for me, the most exciting thing. Well, I am excited, obviously, for Bob's True Tales and Gen 1, the Pirate DLC, but being able to play a DLC, which is dragons everywhere and all these new taming mechanics, I'm so excited about. But I would really like to see Wildcard prioritize getting those maps from Ark Survival Evolved back into the game. Once they do that, you know, the world is their oyster, I guess I could say. You know, they can go off and do whatever they want with the game, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to, and all of this new stuff coming is brilliant. I can't wait for it. But once those traditional OG maps, which I'm hoping that when they mention they're coming, that maybe they're going to be made by third-party studios or something like that, which is a risk sometimes, but if they work with third-party studios that know ARK as well, you know, modders and that kind of thing, then that's a good thing for me personally, as long as they work with a decent dev team, because the Center was released by a third-party studio, and I think it kind of suffered a little bit by that, but you know, it still managed to get the map out, and I really hope to see them, especially Fjorda. I really hope it comes this year, because there is massive breaks between certain maps, in the sense of, you know, survival of the fittest is kind of the main thing planned for Q1, and then they've said that Bob's True Tales is coming late Q2 2026, which sounds to me that like it's going to be June. And to be honest, I did say this to my admin team recently. I just said to them, like, do you know what I could see really happening is Unreal Engine 5.7 is planned for April, and it was they said March 1st. And last year Ragnarok came in June and Unreal Engine 5.5 came in May. So in my head I see potentially Unreal Engine 5.7 getting pushed back another month to May, and then they release Bob's True Tales Tide of the Fortune in June. Just because I you know, if that's what they did last year with constant delays, that could potentially end up happening. I hope for once we get things on time this year, and I'm generally looking forward to all of the new content, but I do really want to see those OG maps return. They hold such a massive part in the ARK community, and I hope Studio Wildcard focus on that. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching today's video. There was a few bits to talk about, updates and changes, so thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.